Hey guys, Moira Gray here. I wanted to do this video on why save in gold. As I've been learning more and more about the economic situation, the value and the history of gold, and the importance of transferring wealth into stable assets and veering away from our traditional banking system, whereby you are consistently losing money, especially now at this time. So I wanted to put together this video just to give you a little bit of insight into some of the things that I have learned over the last little while. So let me ask you a question. When you think about most of the people that you know, do you think that they have a plan to get out of debt and have the ability to retire early and comfortably? And I'll ask you another question. Do you? Have you thought about your retirement? Seriously thought about it? The retirement age as of next year in Ireland is 67 years old. Life expectancy is approximately 81.5 years. That leaves a total of 14.5 very short years to enjoy. Now, if you're like me and you plan to live to be 100, then that's going to add on almost another 20 years to that. So how are you going to fund it? Let's have a look. It's not surprising that the majority of people don't even think about retirement. The ones that do are already paying into a pension fund, or sometimes more than one pension fund, that can't be touched until retirement age and forces you to remain working until then. And in fact, a lot of pension funds that people are paying into won't be what they expect that they are when it comes to cashing out time. There's many different reasons for this. It's a whole separate video, but suffice to say that most people don't self-manage their pension funds, and they have a financial advisor who does that for them. And those financial advisors are not there to protect you on your pension fund. They're there to make money. So the investment of your pension fund generally gets moved in and around bonds and stocks, and not always in the right ones. And as we know, we are in a bubble at the moment with the bond market, which is about to crash. So potentially what's in your pension fund might not look anything like that when it comes to cashing out time. There's also a large portion of the population that are leaving it up to the state to provide a pension for them to survive on. Now, in Ireland, the current pension per year is just under 23,000 euros, which equates to 248 euros and 30 cents per week. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't intend on working my entire life to try and survive on something that you earned when you were a teenager. So let's have a look at some facts and the reasons why money is the way it is, and also a solution. So in 1932, if you look on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see the chart. This chart I pulled off the internet a couple of days ago, and it's representative of the value of £100. We're going in pounds for this because obviously the euro hasn't been around that long, and we don't deal in dollars in England and Ireland. So I wanted to put together something that people could understand. So £100 back in 1932, adjusted for inflation, would cost you to buy what you could buy for £100 back in 1932, a grand sum of £7,026 today. Now, if you also look at the buying power of £100 over time, the buying power of £100 since 1932 has pretty much flatlined. And it's not just the pound. The dollar and all the other major currencies are on the same track. So an ounce of gold, if you had purchased a troy ounce of gold, which is 31 grams, back in 1932, it would have cost you just £5.89. It's crazy. And had you kept that same ounce of gold over time, if your grandparents or parents had passed it down to you today, that ounce of gold today would cost, or you would get in return for it, £1,279. That's a whopping 21,614% increase over 88 years. Here's a small graph just to let you know a little bit, to put into perspective about what's happened since President Nixon in the US in 1971, when the gold standard was pulled, and thereby the dollar and all the other currencies that are hedged on the dollar are now backed by nothing. They're backed by promissory nothings from the governments. And in return, what the government has been doing is they have been printing and printing and printing all currencies in circulation. So as you can see, the amount, the purchasing power of the currency, being the pound here, but the dollar is equally represented here, is very equal to, the decline of that is equal to the massive printing of the same currency. Now, when I say printing, obviously they're not printing all of these notes, but they are adding zeros onto a screen. It's all just one big made-up scheme that everybody has bought into, and it's nothing. It doesn't exist. So, against the gold, we'll have a look here. All currencies, all major currencies, have lost 97 to 99% of their value over gold in the last 100 years. Now, let's talk about inflation. I'm sure everybody has noticed year on year on year the price of the most simple things that we have in life. In this graph, it is a cup of coffee. Coffee goes up more than once a year. Prices go up, VAT rates go up. We know the VAT rate's gone up in Ireland on certain things, certain industries, especially in the food industry, has a hike that was threatened many years ago. It's now come up. So everything is costing more. Where is the money going? So to cover the printing of extra money, inflation therefore comes about. So you'll see over the last 6 decades, in this particular example, a price of a cup of coffee has gone from 25 cents, almost doubling each decade, up to $1.59. Now, I honestly don't know anywhere in Ireland that you would ever get a cup of coffee for €1.50 or €1.60. You're looking at least €2 to €3, if not 4 or 5 for Starbucks. So again, represented here is the increase of regular items that a lot of households would go through in a weekly, monthly basis, definitely on a daily basis for bread and milk. So you will see the increases here range from 257% all the way up to 1,077% increase on property. And we can see this increase in prices. However, have you noticed this increase in your wages? I'm pretty sure you can definitely say no on that one. Since you started working a couple of decades ago, has your increase in wages doubled, trebled, quadrupled in line with what you're paying out for stuff now? Or are you finding that you're working longer hours, you're working harder and harder every year and paying more and more tax just to break even and to keep your head above water? And in fact, since the last recession, a lot of people still haven't even recovered from it. So, fiat currency will always return to its intrinsic value, which is zero. Because fiat currency, paper currency, it's just made up currency. It's not backed by anything. It's been a very long time since it was backed by anything. But there are experts out there, a lot of them, who have been preaching the same stuff and teaching the same stuff, who I have been very, very fortunate to come across over the last year or so, that studying them very closely, following them closely on YouTube, mostly on YouTube to be honest, reading their books. Robert Kiyosaki is a legend. He has, and highly, highly recommend that anybody gets stuck straight away into Rich Dad, Poor Dad, followed very quickly by Cash Flow Quadrant. If you can nail these 2 books, there's free versions of them everywhere, on audio, on YouTube, you name it, it's there. Mike Maloney from Gold and Silver, he has, if you Google on YouTube, you will find Hidden Secrets of Money. There's 11 episodes in the series, and he's continuing to make more as he goes along, but he will break down the actual facts about gold and silver. Also, Mr. Jim Sinclair, another great guy to follow. And they will teach you that one of the best things you can do to hedge against inflation is to hold gold. Get gold and get it into your hands physically in any amounts, small or large, and hold it. Because the problem for most people is that they think and believe and are led to believe that gold is unaffordable and that it's inaccessible. I was raised to believe that gold is something that the wealthy and the rich had, that it's not accessible to everyday people, and that it's difficult to use. But there's a very simple solution. All you need to do is to start understanding that you can get your hands on gold, very tiny amounts of it, and it's not overly expensive to do. By swapping small habits like buying a cup of coffee a day, or for some people 2 or 3 cups of coffee while you're on your way to work, while you're on your lunch break. And I love coffee, and it's a very important part of my life, especially as a mama. But to start to change some small spending habits can allow you to start changing your asset future and your financial future. And then, if there comes a time whereby you need to cash in your gold, you can bring your Karatbars gold cards into any bullion dealer, and they will be very, very happy to give you a spot price for it and swap it out for some fiat currency. However, one of the main goals in buying gold is to hold gold, to hold it. For me, if I need cash, I will find another way to get that cash. I won't change my gold into cash because that is for my son, that is for my future. It's not for spending now. So to adopt the thought process of how can I afford it, not can I afford it. If you ask yourself how, you will come up with the solution. So let me introduce you to Karatbars. Karatbars has been around since 2011 and have been providing very small units of gold, the highest quality of pure currency grade LBMA certified gold to the masses. And it is produced on cards, credit card size cards, in 1 gram, 2.5 gram and 5 gram cards. It's easy to use, it's accessible, and it's affordable. You can have it delivered or they will store it for you. And this is one of the most amazing things. So in more recent times, Karatbars has now started producing beautiful cash gold notes with small 0.1 gram pieces, that's 1/10 of a gram pieces embedded in them. There's 4 different denominations. They're absolutely stunning notes. And it just means that absolutely anybody on this planet, regardless of income, can start saving in gold now. So how do you save in gold? You can click the link on the description of my video and you can start saving in gold. You can open the account, it's free to open, and then you can start saving on a daily, on a weekly, on a monthly basis. If, however, somebody has sent you this video, please do them a favor and go back to them and ask them how to set up an account with you, and they will be very happy to show you.